with Keith Arem, and he's got a new graphic novel, Frost Road. So, Frost Road, please, before we go any further.
So, Frost Road is a psychological horror thriller. It was actually a screenplay that we were developing as a motion picture, and we took the storyboards from the movie, and as we were doing the conceptual work, we evolved that into our next graphic novel. So it's a story of a guy that wakes up outside of this town, Frost Road. He's crashed his car with amnesia in the middle of the forest, and he goes looking for help for his injuries, and he finds this town that's been devastated by this invisible contagion, and the story kind of unfolds as a psychological thriller about his involvement about this town and sort of taking the survivors who are suffering whatever's happening to this this mysterious town and getting them out. So it's sort of a zombie movie in reverse. And it's kind of an exciting story, and we developed it as a film, but it's playing very, very well as a graphic novel. So.
And the high concept that I was given ahead of time was like A Quiet Place meets Silent Hill.
Yeah, it kind of meets Bird Box, if you know that Netflix show that was there. You know, something where you have this thing where people are suffering from whatever, it feels paranormal, we don't know what it is. The exciting part about the story from my background, coming from music and engineering and the science, is that everything that's happening, even though it feels very paranormal, is actually based on real science and what's happening to the people in this town. A little bit of a spoiler is that whatever's causing this thing for these people to go kind of tear themselves apart, they're missing all the salt from their bodies, and that's a real condition called hyponatremia. And I was fascinated by what could cause that, and coming from a sound background, and I had some teachers in college that were advanced physics teachers that used to work for the CIA, and they were telling me some of the experimentation that the CIA was doing in the 60s, where they were taking sound waves and using that for interrogation. So I was seeing what the military was doing in the oceans and some other stuff, and starting to put it all together. So the story has a really interesting, very unique twist on the horror psychological thriller genre, and it was interesting to kind of take it into the film space, but then to actually board that out into a story that can be kind of a linear story with sequential panels for comic books or graphic novels is usually very challenging. And so Christopher Schei and I, who had worked on Ascend and many other projects together, I thought that would be a perfect mechanism for us to kind of take this story and bring a very cinematic look to this high concept graphic novel.
And it's interesting, I think it's been 8 or 9 years since I last actually interviewed you. We've said hello from time to time since, but talking with you is always like something deeply unsettling about the science you know. And because the last time we talked was for the Phoenix incident.
Right.
And the things you know about UAPs,
aliens, yes.
Is that what we call them now?
Yes.
I'm trying so hard to remember that acronym.
Right.
So,
UFOs.
Is there anything else you want to tell me that will make it hard for me to sleep tonight that's real?
Yeah, I mean, for me as a storyteller, I grew up in the Cold War. I grew up with the threat of being nuked at any minute, biological warfare. I was in Biohazard and Contagion. So I was always fascinated by these things that you couldn't necessarily see, but they were going to kill you.
Wait, you mean the movies or the games? You don't mean actual Biohazards or Contagions?
The actual band on Capitol Records.
Oh, the band. Oh, I didn't know that.
And so, yeah, that's where I started. So I was a musician, playing angry industrial music. And in Contagion, I was looking at all of the biological warfare and other projects. So a lot of the stories I started to create were kind of what-if stories where you took real science, real facts, and tell a what-if story about that. And even my books like Ascend, the first one, was all angels and demons, and that was really based on mythology from world mythology coming together and saying, well, what if we're looking at angels wrong? What if they're actually not these beautiful winged cherubs, but these are these terrifying messengers who are harvesting souls into this purgatory war? So every story I work on, I think, has some grounding of either a reality basis or historical fiction or something that's there that actually kind of gives it that plausibility, and then we kind of take a what-if story. So with the Phoenix incident, it was very much about bringing together the conspiracies of the Heaven's Gate and the Hale-Bopp Comet and what was happening with the Phoenix Lights. And in this story, this is actually really stuff that the military is doing, and we're seeing it in the world's oceans, and I wanted to take it to a human level. So, and I think the fans really resonate with that, because if you looked at a series like the X-Files always took real science relevant recent science and spun that into the fiction behind the shows, and that's why the show resonated with audiences. And I thought that was a really brilliant way to kind of approach storytelling, because people already feel familiar with the world, and then they can sort of explore that, and that's kind of I think the approach I've taken with a lot of these books.
Okay, and Frost Road right now is touted as it's a convention exclusive, and I'm going to be honest, I doubt I'll get this up before the convention's over.
Yeah.
So what can someone do to
get the
read
book?
the story?
Good question. We are in the midst of looking at Frost Road 2.0 in terms of distribution. The book that you see here at the show is exclusive to the Kickstarter backers and to the convention appearances that we're doing. And by the sales of what we've done, we're probably going to be sold out by tomorrow. So what we'll probably be doing in the future is looking at doing a slightly different version of the book that we'll get out through traditional distribution, and we'll make that available in stores. And especially since this is geared as a motion picture, there's a lot of talk about a movie behind this. So as the movie goes forward, we would definitely have a different version of the book available for fans.
Excellent. All right, well, Keith, thank you for giving me some time. I know this is a crazy Comic-Con, as they all are, so thanks for taking some time to talk about this.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thanks for watching. The party's not over. It's just going to be a little bit quieter from here on out. Please hit the subscribe button and visit fanboyplanet.com for more content, because you never know what's coming next. I know I don't. And remember, use your powers for good.